Ladies and gentlemen, in a few minutes we will be starting this afternoon's ceremony to celebrate the graduates from Regent's University London. I am Dominic Laffey, Master of Ceremonies, and I have the honour of guiding you through today's ceremony. Graduands, when told to by the ushers, we'd like you to line up as directed by the ushers, hand in your card, and when your name is read out, you walk across the stage, doff your cap to the chancellor, who will be in the middle, and come along to your director of content or course leader to get the scroll. Once you've got the scroll, photo opportunity, then you progress back to your seat. If you do not wish to scroll, put your hands to the side, and no scroll will be proffered. You can smile, by the way, this is supposed to be an enjoyable day. You return to your seat via the central aisle. Parents, friends, and supporters, today's a very special day for all of us. And I know that many of you will want to record it via video and photographs, Instagram. Can I ask you not to stand in the central aisle, as that will get in the way of students as they return to their seats and it will block the views of others. At the end of the ceremony, when we move down to the lower lawns for the reception, there will be plenty of opportunity for both formal and informal photography. Could you please all ensure that mobile phones are on silent or turned off during the ceremony, particularly to people on that side of the room? Phones off, please. Today is truly a day to celebrate, and although this is a formal occasion, I would encourage you to share your joy or relief as your daughter or son walks across the stage. And remember that there will be some students for whom no one is able to be present. So just for today, let's applaud them as if they were all our own. Would you all please stand for the entry of the academic procession? Please would you remain standing while the platform party is seated.
Good afternoon. By the authority of the Board of Directors and the Academic Committee, I declare open this congregation for the conferment of academic awards. I will now call upon the Vice-Chancellor of Regent's University London, Professor Jeff Smith, to welcome everyone to this graduation ceremony. Please do be seated.
Chancellor, graduands, guests, friends, family and colleagues, it's my pleasure, my privilege as Vice-Chancellor of Regents to welcome you all to today's graduation ceremony. Thank you for battling the weather and the distance and the travel restrictions and the testing regimes and so on to be with us here today. It's so wonderful, so special to be together again, to celebrate your achievements with you in person. Of course, celebrating together today has been made so much more momentous, so much more poignant by the tumultuous 18 months we've all of us had to go through. The loss of life, the unprecedented economic and social disruption, the millions of lives upended, and the millions of livelihoods at risk. But now, with the light at the end of the tunnel firmly in view, now is the moment for global solidarity and support, particularly for the most vulnerable in our societies, and to begin to build back better, to rethink, to reimagine, and to ensure that our new normal is better, fairer, more sustainable than the old. So we need you, the Regents graduates of 2021, to step up, to become the leaders and the change makers that we need, whether that's in the new ventures or the social enterprises that you'll no doubt launch, or in the positions you're going to take up back in your family firms as those entrepreneurs or corporate entrepreneurs, in the world of business, in politics, in public life, in your own practices, studios, in your families and communities. We need Regent's entrepreneurial graduates to help us build back better. And as you take up those responsibilities, just pause for a moment to look back at what you've achieved during your time at Regent's. All of those impossible deadlines met and conquered. All of those moments of self-doubt, those crises of confidence, that pernicious everyone is better than me syndrome, all of that surmounted, conquered, worked through. No doubt it's thanks in part to the support, practical, emotional, occasionally financial perhaps, you've received from this side of the room, from your loved ones, and no doubt the support, academic and pastoral, you've received from this end of the room, the lecturers, the tutors and the professional services colleagues around you. But in the end, of course, it's you yourself that got it over the line. And given the context we've been in, you've shown unbelievable grit to do that, unbelievable adaptability and courage and resilience. And these are the qualities that we want you now to amplify as you graduate in such uncertain times. Someone said the definition of intelligence is knowing what to do when you don't know what to do. So clearly you've been cultivating that in the last 18 months or so. So let's allow no one ever to define you as the COVID cohort, that generation of students whose university education was compromised or blighted or interrupted by the pandemic. Instead, and in truth, you're the cohort that defied it, that looked its challenges square in the eye and refused to be cowed or defeated by it, responding instead with innovation and ingenuity and imagination. So we're incredibly proud of this particular cohort, and we'll look on with admiration as you continue your journeys and make your marks on the world. And finally, as you graduate from us today, you'll join the global community of Regent's alumni, those chief execs, founders, entrepreneurs, designers, politicians, actors, influencers, royalty, board members, all doing remarkable things across the world. And I urge you to make the most of the opportunities that membership of that exclusive global network offers. So, on behalf of all the staff here at Regent's, congratulations again to each and every one of you on your incredible, unbelievable achievements. Thank you.
Chancellor, I call upon Professor Lawrence Phillips to commence the presentation of graduands from the BA Global Management with Pathways programme and Dr. Elias Bukrami to present the scrolls for the finance pathway.
Chancellor, I present to you those candidates from the BA Honours Global Management Finance programme who are today being awarded degrees, diplomas and certificates. Elias Abu Hammer. Amal Albar. Riyad Amer. Tal Bar. William Blom. Amin Charabai Dakama. Shannon De Cruz. Max Enkelman. Daniela Garcia Perez. Marie Gomez. Joanne Karem. Karijatu Koita. James Kuriga. Jessica Leotu. Louis Lapine. Sophia Meister. Jakob Nali. Ayodele Okubaju. Michael Shimerli. Christina Slobodian. Nora Sorensen. Max Tellender. Gina Volta. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the BA Honours Global Management Finance Programme.
Chancellor, I call upon Professor Zubin Sethna to present the scrolls for the marketing pathway.
Chancellor, I present to you those candidates from the BA Honours Global Management Marketing Programme who are today being awarded degrees, diplomas and certificates. Safela Abdul Moateleb. Josephine Adrianson. Hamad Khaled R. Alanzand. Sarah Amin. Andrea Bhattacharjee. Saif bin Laden. Ingrid Bokan. Zenon Christoloudis. Kiara Fleischbaum. Silan Gopaldas. Vladimir Hokentobler. Emma Joshua. Karem Kaolar Vega. Harshavardhan Kodan. Sophie Malkovist. Galib Nalband. Mariam Ngona Injay. Roy Schweizbart. Anwar Oren Gazliev. Karanbir Singh. Adelaide Sultanbeck. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the BA Honours Global Management Marketing Programme.
Chancellor, I call upon Professor Jonathan Wilson to present the scrolls for the BA International Events Management and MA Management Programmes.
Chancellor, I present to you those candidates from the BA Honours International Events Management Programme who are today being awarded degrees, diplomas and certificates. Wei Ling Xiong. Maxime de Montefalcon de Flaxu. Catherine James. Veronica Mashi. Rebecca McAuliffe. Nancy Petrova. Emily Porter. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the BA Honours International Events Management Programme. Chancellor, I present to you those candidates from the MA Management Programme who are today being awarded degrees, diplomas and certificates. Massine Dallin. Mohammed El Sami. Tanev Gupta. Ayush Hegde. Nina Hone. Vinita Karam Chandani. Samir Malhotra. Ravi Naniwal. Zaid Faiz Zahid. Divij Sikka. Rachel Terry. Joe Frustrup. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the MA Management programme.
Chancellor, I call upon Professor Mark Allenson to present the remaining postgraduate programmes and Dr. Bhavini Desai to present the scrolls for the MA Luxury Brand Management programme.
Chancellor, I present to you those candidates from the MA Luxury Brand Management programme who are today being awarded degrees, diplomas and certificates. Alia Abu Dawood. Hasna Alawi. Tanvir Singh Bajwa. Alexandra Brauschaert. Frederica de Souza Gramacho. Gaia El Morwan. Caterina Formentini. Giuseppe Grassi. Reda Kalinkauskaite. Lana Caramarco. Victoria Kim. Neil Lula. Risa Mehra. Franklin Neem. Onamol Op Olmko. Arunrek Reka Korjamokol. Mone Sakikibara. Shruti Sitharaman. Anushka Sandeep Shah. Iris Slaman. Alvina Tare. Garima Thakur. Anna Yu. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the MA Luxury Brand Management Programme.
Chancellor, I call upon Nuria Glusk to present the scrolls of the Postgraduate Certificate in Higher Education Programme.
Chancellor, I present to you those candidates from the Postgraduate Certificate in Higher Education Programme who are today being awarded certificates. Owain Korana Davis. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Postgraduate Certificate in Higher Education Programme.
Chancellor, I call upon Jerry Grayling, Director of Academic Services, to come to the lectern to announce the award winners from today's graduands, and call upon Professor Niamh Downing, Deputy Vice-Chancellor, to present the Academic Achievement Awards.
Chancellor, I'm pleased to announce the name of the student who is graduating today as the winner of the BA Honours International Events Management Outstanding Student Award, Max Hans Hendrik Friedrich. Chancellor, I'm pleased to announce the name of the student who is graduating today as the winner of the MA Management Outstanding Student Award, Joe Tharastrup. Chancellor, I'm pleased to announce the name of the student who is graduating today as the winner of the MA Luxury Brand Management Outstanding Student Award, Christian Koch.
Another Oscars moment. Chancellor, I call upon Jason Drew, alumnus of Regent's University London, to address the ceremony.
Good afternoon to you all. You've been graduating through what must have been a very trying educational experience. I graduated in 1988 into a very different world, with no internet, no mobile phones, although, like you, a world of opportunity. Your graduation, however, is only the end of the beginning of a long journey. You will live longer, you'll work longer, and have the opportunity to achieve more than any generation before you. You will not have one career or business, but many, and this will require a lifelong attitude and a desire for learning. All of my studies, from accounting to law, psychology, languages, and latterly history and geography, have all stood me in remarkable stead. You will face many, many challenges and global crises. Some of them will happen sooner than you would wish, climate change being one of those. These challenges are easier addressed together with like-minded people than alone. I have many good friends with whom I've graduated and have found and met many more alumni on every continent on this planet over the decades, through chance meetings on the polo fields, to a German ex-JP Morgan banker from New York who owned the farm next to mine in a remote part of Africa, who was also an alumni of this institution. Connections to Regents are woven throughout my life. All of the businesses I have created have included alumni as partners, investors, and supporters. Let me tell you a bit about that journey. After a fairly short corporate career, I spent the last 25 years starting and selling various businesses before I found what was really important to me. I retired from my farm in South Africa and decided to spend time with the people I most disliked. They had prevented me from building satellite ground stations, disaster recovery centres. Everywhere across Africa they impeded my business. The environmentalists. There were so many of them that they could not all be wrong. And having really spent time with them and understanding their concerns, I became a very committed environmentalist. I could not, however, give up my firm belief in the enormous capacity of businesses to create and deliver change. It was then that I became what I've termed an environmental capitalist, combining the drive and inventiveness of free markets with outcomes that help repair what I see as otherwise our very broken future. When I graduated, it was unthinkable to be both business-focused and an environmentalist. You had to be one or the other. Now, an environmentalist that doesn't understand the markets will never get their cause funded. A business person who does not understand that their company is subservient to and dependent upon the environment will fail in their business. Let me tell you about some of my businesses that are repairing the future. My first businesses were all about insects. One of my first businesses was called Oxitec. We bred sterile male mosquitoes, which we released into cities in Brazil and latterly into Florida. These sterile male mosquitoes mated with wild females, reducing the population rather than using pesticides and leaving chemical residues to control their numbers. On exit, this was the first insect business in the world to make 9 numbers in dollars. I then went on to found a company called AgriProtein. This company harnessed the power of the humble fly. In nature, flies lay eggs in waste. Those eggs hatch into wriggly little larvae. And those larvae consume the waste and turn it into compost. And they themselves become food for a passing bird. Or if they emerge and go through the life cycle again and emerge as a fly, they fly over a stream where a trout jumps out of the water and eats them. That's the life cycle. We copied that and turned and created a business of recycling organic waste into compost and protein for fish farms and chicken farms around the world. From California to Korea, we're solving the waste problem and the protein problem. The world is long on waste and short on protein, and we found a way using nature to bridge that gap until we sold the business some few months ago. Swarm technology is another one. Ants build bridges to cross streams. They forage for food in unison, but not all in the same place at not at the same time. Individually, they are very slow and simple, but collectively, they are brilliant. We harness that thinking to build a machine learning algorithm to trade the futures markets. We've done extraordinarily well through the turmoil of the last 24 months, and now a UK-regulated hedge fund, and targeting to achieve $1 billion of assets under management. It'll be the first billion-dollar insect business. I'm now switching my attention from insects to plants, as I really think that plants are going to deliver quite an extraordinary change to all our lives. You've all seen it from the food you're eating, from Impossible Burgers to everything else. I ask you, what does cannabis, magic mushrooms, and oak trees have in common? You don't eat the first two and sit under the third to contemplate the universe. They all provide extraordinary natural extracts. The first two you may well know about. CBD oil is taking the world. THC and psilocybin, the psychoactive elements of magic mushrooms, and cannabis are about, in pharmaceutical form, to again take on an immense role in medicine. But oak trees have a remarkable and interesting past. The Romans kept their wine in clay amphora until they conquered Gaul and Germania, and there they discovered oak storage barrels. Since then, for the last 2,000 years, we have been using oak to store food, wine, spirits, and beer. We are now sustainably taking those extracts from offcuts of oak and extracting the antioxidants and tannins to radically change beverage and food preservation, and also developing wound, in particular burn care treatments. Organic extracts will become a multi-billion-dollar business and replace chemicals, at least in part, and hopefully in substantial part, over the coming decades. As a graduate of Regents, you have access to the innovative alumni support programs that are there to help you, whether you're a founder of a business or to help with your CV and advice as you progress through your career. I encourage you to join the alumni program, which will give you access not only to the ongoing support of your university, but also the ecosystem of nearly 20,000 graduates that are really present everywhere in the world, in every field of business, and very successful at it, like you will indeed be. Wherever your journey takes you over the coming decades, I ask you to stand strong for the environment and business, and together, let's get repairing the future. Thank you for listening.
Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, faculty, graduands, ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony is drawing to a close. It has been a special day. It's been a special day particularly for the people on the right-hand side of the room. One that we'll remember for years to come. We've heard many words of thanks, of inspiration and hope for the future. There have been so many people involved in the journeys you have made to be here today. And just for a moment, I'd like to focus on two sets of those, both of whom are represented in this room. The first are the people on the left-hand side of the auditorium, your friends and family. And the second are the academic staff and professional services who've supported you in your time here. So in a moment, I'm going to give you an opportunity to thank both of them. So what I ask you to do, graduands, is to stand and face first your friends and family. So please stand and thank the people who've supported you. And now I invite everybody to stand to thank the platform party and the academics and colleagues around the room. Together, we are Regents. Can I ask you to sit down again, please? In a moment or so, I shall invite the Chancellor to close the ceremony. After this, can I please ask you to remain where you are and stand while the platform party leaves, and then when the platform party's left, we'd like the graduates to follow, starting with the front row. Okay? We will then invite you to join us down on the lower lawns where refreshments will be available. We hope that you enjoy the opportunity to see fellow graduates and staff after so long apart. Chancellor, can I invite you to return to the lectern today to close today's ceremony?
So this has been a wonderful day. This is your magnetic moment. You've truly passed over from being learners to graduates, and shortly you'll become defined by your future. We're very proud of you. Your families, your friends are proud of you, and you must be proud of you. I hope that when you step out from Regents, wherever you head to tomorrow, or maybe in the weeks ahead, you'll have already thought about what your purpose is going to be. Receiving an academic qualification is but step one. The one thing you can be absolutely certain of from now is you've no idea what will come next. The defining characteristic of 2020 and 2021 is that no matter how much we think we know, we don't know what's coming next. Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, who was, many would say, the greatest Soviet leader of all time, the turn of the 20th century, said these words: there are decades when nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen. So much of our lives can be squeezed into short spaces, and we have to figure out what it is we're there for. I defined my purpose when I was 16. I decided then that I would speak for the poor, that I would always seek to bend the power of the prosperous to the potential of the poor. So you too must make a choice. What will you stand up for? What will define you? Professor Muhammad Yunus, who this summer at the Olympics in Tokyo received a special Olympic award for his contribution to dynamic sports. His bank, the Grameen Bank, now the largest retail bank in the world, spread all across Asia, started in Bangladesh, and spread through Africa and into North America, with 20 American cities now hosting Grameen banks. Its characteristic: the poorest of the poor put their pennies together and never default on their repayments. It's become significant because it has a critical value at the heart of it. And he said it so powerfully. You have a choice. You can live in a world already built, or you can build a world you want to live in. You must decide. Decide on your purpose. Decide on the world you want to live in. Decide on the kind of person you will be. The great scientist Albert Einstein warned in these words: the world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything. I had the privilege of meeting Nelson Mandela just twice. A man who'd spent 27 years in prison on falsified charges, then a preparation period of nearly 2 years, and 5 years in office. President Mandela came to define what it meant to be a forgiving leader, to have the qualities to lead a turbulent nation towards order, and to set a tone that other leaders around the world only ever wanted to follow. Well, he had some wise advice for you and for me. When you're at the top, he said, be careful of the monster called pride. For pride will make you look down on the people who haven't attained your level of success. When you're at the bottom, be careful of the monster called bitterness. For bitterness will make you jealous and think that other people are the reason you haven't made it. When you're on the way up to the top, be careful of the monster called greed. For greed will make you impatient and make you steal or seek shortcuts. And when you're on your way down, be careful of the monster called despair. For despair will make you think it's all over, when after all, there is abundant hope. We've all spent time thinking of COVID, small or large. This pandemic is not done. It's still afflicting, and lives will still be lost. But some perspective forces us to realize that no matter how bad it's been for us, or for those we love, or those we've lost, it hasn't been as bad as those who've gone before. All of history has been full of pandemics. I found a poem written originally in 1869, reprinted specifically for the pandemic of the Spanish flu. That was 1919. Fascinating image of two women walking along a market in 1919, masked up. We've been here before. You'll be here again. So here's the poem, and I leave you with these words. It's called This is Timeless. And people stayed at home, and they read books, and listened, and they rested, and they did exercise. They made art and they played. And they learnt new ways of being. And they stopped and listened more deeply. Someone meditated. Someone prayed. Someone met their shadow. And people began to think differently. And people healed. And in the absence of people who wanted to live in ignorant ways, dangerous, meaningless, heartless, the earth also began to heal. And when the danger ended and people found themselves, they grieved for the dead. And they made new choices. And they dreamed of new visions. And they created new ways of being. They completely healed the earth, just as they were healed. So I now declare closed this congregation for the conferment of academic awards, and I'm delighted to say that you are now graduates of Regent's University London. Many congratulations to all of you.